story, and then you don't have to share this if you don't want to, but you posted Steph was sitting across from you, and you asked him, correct me if I'm wrong, what is your cheat sheet, or what is your, and he was writing stuff down. Are you able to share that with us?
Well, yeah. So when we got there in Vegas, I talked to all the guys. I have no problem giving people compliments at all. So like, regardless of if they're younger than me, older than me, best in the world or not, like sharing love and positivity. So it was like, Steph, by the way, like I wanted to talk to you because the thing Steph does, I feel like you can get close to replicating. Like LeBron is 6'9", 250. Like there's
like legit.
There's maybe one of those humans ever, maybe two. Yeah. KD again, unicorn. Anthony Edwards again, unicorn. Like you can't replicate some of the gifts that these people have, but Steph relies on his work, his ability to train, recover, and mental preparation. So I wanted to talk to him like what I could steal. So throughout the whole 3 weeks, finally last day in London after the game, we finished the game, went upstairs to eat, and then he came down, and then because I told him, I said, I'm annoying you like a little brother about it, and he was like, cool, let's sit down now. So I told him I brought a notebook so I could write it down, and he was like, no, just give it to me. So like he grabbed the notebook and was like, all right, what's your questions? And I was like,
all
right, so I was like, boom. So I just started asking him questions like, all right, what do you do for conditioning? What do you do for sleep? What's your recovery thing? Do you cold tub? Do you contrast? How many hours do you sleep? Do you do yoga? How do you stretch? What vitamins do you take? And just going down the list of everything that he could do. Like, what is your in-season training? What do you do off-season? Like, what do you do pre-game? What is your shooting routines for a game? In between, what do you do if you're in a slump? Like, he's just
really broke everything down.
Like, what are some of your workouts that you do? And he's like, what? And then he's like, I'm actually happy you have me write them down because like I've never seen them written down before. Like my trainer just tells me to do them and I do them. But he was like, I've never written them down myself and looked at them. So like as he's writing it down, his security guard that was with him, he ends up taking a picture of it because Steph was like, take a picture of these because like I've never seen it written down before. And then he takes a picture of it, and then I'm like, as I'm sitting there, throughout that whole 3 weeks, like the last 2 years of my life, I've focused on living in the moment with everything. So like as I'm sitting there, I'm sitting across from Steph like,
just embracing it.
The guys won't believe this. They won't believe this when I tell them what's happening right now. And just watching him just write down stuff. He's like, yeah. And then we're talking about like what books he likes to read, like what he does, the stuff for hydration. Like I started drinking coconut water. Last year during, I did Ramadan with two of my teammates, Tariq and Amin, are both Muslim. So like I did Ramadan with them. And right before the games, we'd be back there, eating. And I saw coconut water was like really good for like quick hydration. And then I asked him, do you drink coconut water? And then he's like, it's crazy. My wife told me that. She would tell me all the time. And then Steph came out. Steph was like, I went home one time and was like, hey, I heard like, what does it drink coconut water? She was like, yeah, there's stuff in the fridge all the time. Like I literally have it in the fridge for you all the time. And he was like, she already had it for me. And I was like, damn. So he was just talking about everything. Like I have the notepad in my apartment. Like, and I just go through and like look at stuff. Like I've changed my pregame shooting routines, the stuff I do. Like if I go back to the gym at night, and it's just different stuff that his trainer has done with him. He's picked up from over the years, different workouts he does, and like everything that can like increase his longevity and then give him the edge. And the biggest thing for him and what I've always taken pride in and more now is just like conditioning. Like it's not the best player that wins or the best player that plays the best. It's the player that plays the best the longest. So if you got one quarter in you and you're like, damn, he was killing that first quarter, but then you're tired, like, all right, that's it for you. To be great, to be in these echelons of these greats, like you need to be able to do that for 4 quarters and then overtime. And then you got to be able to do that next week. In our case, you got to be able to do that in a double week. And you got to go do that on Saturday because we just had a double week, but then we play Ephes. So now it's like you got to do 3 tough games. Like, is your cardio there? Is your recovery there? Is your sleep there? And then, like, getting it from someone who everyone unanimously agrees is, like, the upper echelon of cardio and body maintenance. Like, to get that stuff from him is
So out of everything that he gave you, what was the one thing that you were like, I didn't expect this? Like, we all know ice tub. We all know, your electrolytes. We all know. Okay, we learned coconut water. What were you like? Wow, I didn't think of that.
So there's a sleeping app he uses, and he was like, yeah. So this is the app I use, and he said I go to sleep with it all the time, and then he was like, even it's like they have, and then he just gets out his phone. He's like, yeah. So now it's like he's looking, and I'm still in my mind. I'm going.
It's Steph Curry.
This is unbelievable.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Like there's like the first day I got over like the stardom. It was like, damn, you see, wow. I'm texting my boys, y'all won't believe it. So the first day I was like over the stardom. And then after that, it was just like, everybody's, one of the guys, they're all cool. But then that time it came back because I'm like, bro, that's Steph Curry, bro. Yeah. Steph Curry is showing me his phone app right now about the sleep app he uses. And he was like, yeah, so like sometimes when we have games, we're like, like, hey, 82 games. Sometimes we play that back to back to back, and it's the last team in the league. And sometimes, and he's like, yeah, so I use this app. I listen to this before the game, and so I'm like, so when you're not really like feeling it, like you listen to this before a game, and then you go out and you get 30. It's like sometimes I'm like, oh my god. So stuff like that, like I didn't expect him to like share, but everything he did is like, this is what I do for shooting. This is my conditioning. And it's not easy, by the way. That conditioning is insane.
Yeah. What does he do for conditioning?
So one of the biggest surprises that he's like, he doesn't run on the treadmill. So like I was thinking it's gonna be like a lot of treadmill work because you hear a lot of guys talk about running on the treadmill, and he's like, all his cardio is like in the midst of his like working out.
Right.
So like he wants all the cardio to be like
game reps.
Like I'm sprinting. If I'm doing something, it's sprinting for shots. I'm sprinting to shoot, and like I'm sprinting to do something with basketball. And then at the end, he may do like some extra running, and like so I was like, all right, cool. So like this whole summer and like even after practice, the stuff he does after practice, like when we'd finish practice, he has his routine. So if it was an easy practice, he has a routine, medium routine. It was hard routine, and like I was on his hip, like, you ready? Like after practice, I'll sit next to him. You ready? I'm here. Whatever you need. And then just sit there and just watch him do it. And then he's like, yeah. So, and then he wrote all of it down. He's like, yeah. So like, it's these shots here, and then I'm like, this is unbelievable. Amazing. It's literally unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
Sure.
So outside of Steph, obviously LeBron's there, KD's there. Who's another guy that kind of took you under his wing and opened his arms to you, or would you say everybody was kind of that way?
Everybody was nice. Everybody was cool. I mean, besides like my interactions with Steph, I was with Bam most of the time. Like after practice and stuff, me and him, like we were kicking it together all the time. Like we went to, like in Abu Dhabi, we went to see their mosque down there. We went to the Burj Khalifa in Dubai and in Abu Dhabi. So we were like hanging out together most of the time. And then like the times that were like the most like unbelievable were like being on the bench, because it was always like I was always texting my mom or my family or my guys like, bro, these last years in Europe, like every time you're on the bench, it's just like anger and tension. It's like you're sitting next to somebody and somebody's like, oh, yelling because somebody scored or so you didn't score, and everyone's mad, and the coaches turn around like, what is he doing? Or like, you didn't see Shane just do that? Why would you go? And it's just like everything is like this.
Yeah.
And then like I'm sitting on the bench next to KD, and we're just sitting there, and he's like, shit, what up, Nigel, bro? And we looking at some shit, and then like Bron gonna do his little dunk. Bron does his little dunk and does this, and everybody's like, ah! And then we sit back down. He said, they need to put that shit on 2K, bro. Like that needs to be his thing. Like everybody, and we're just like, everything was just. I rediscovered and discovered like a level of joy for basketball that I didn't know I had, or I hadn't seen in a while since being in Europe. Because there's no joy playing basketball in Europe. Like,
very stressful.
When you're playing the game, like it's very, you know what I'm saying? Like it's very
intense.
Like, there's no moment where like, if something happens, there's like there's a little break of joy. It's never any of that. It's just
high stress all the time.
Yeah, the whole time. But like in those games, we're sitting there and like we're just laughing about this, or some like Steph does something cool, and everyone's like, as soon as Steph shoots a three, all of us stand up and we're like, like none of that happens. Like,
and you're doing that with like the best players in the world at the moment. So it's like,
or like we're playing these games and it's like my moment of like trying to be like working on I gave up being humble, but because because it's bad universal practice. But like, I'm sitting there watching guys play on their national teams, and I'm like, man, bro, I was born in the wrong country, bro.
100%,
I'm telling you,
100%.
I'm watching, and there's no disrespect, but like I'm watching guys that's like played you last year, cooked,
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah.
and KD is like, you know him? I say,
Handle
yeah,
him.
that's sick. I'm sitting there like, hey, Cap, bro,
Yeah.
Right.
let me tell you.
Yeah.
I'm like, bro, I was born in the wrong country, bro.